Started that part. Yeah,
Long.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You can continue. Sorry to cut you short, please.
And that's fine. That's fine. So, like I said, I started by mistake. I was admitted into fine arts department, and it was something I wanted to do at that time, But when I got to the department, it was in 200 level in Lautech, and I was trying to draw to the best of my knowledge. I've drew the best thing, and even people that drew more than me, they had a very good quality in images. And the lecturer was saying, "Oh, I will rate you 2/10." And I was looking at what I did. I was like, "No, I'm not going to survive here." I had to just, move to another department. And I was opportune, to be admitted into the computer science and engineering department. Yeah. So after 5 years in Lautech, started as a Java programmer. That was the first thing I did. But before then, during my NYSC, I was actually training people at Karox Academy. I don't know, it was owned by Indians, where I was training CCNA, which is a Cisco certified network administrator. And then after that, I moved to Lagos, got a job as a system analyst. Then I went for master's just a year after then. I studied master's in system engineering from University of Lagos. Then I went back into work. And during my master's, people were saying, "Oh, why would you leave your job, to come for master's?" And it was something I was just looking at that particular time. Between that space of 2014, when I started job, until now, I've worked for almost 10, 11 organizations. Most of them are not on my CV. It's very funny how I've worked for an organization for 14 days, worked for an organization for 30 days. The thing is, I know my worth. I know, the one thing I always advise people, you just have to draw out the plan. Where do you want to go? What do you really want? So if you're not giving me, even when you are giving me a lot of money, I will still leave, because that is not what I want. And when I left in 2019. I was like, no, I'm not going to work again. I was still doing my system engineering, going under the table to fix printer and the likes. And I saw my guys, I was like, they made a video call and they were like, "Oh, we are in Tech Expert, we are learning cloud." I said, "What is cloud?" I came for interview and, they were asking. So somebody actually dropped and said, they're asking questions about Microsoft Azure, cloud computing. Do you know it? I went on Google and I was searching, I was looking at what Microsoft Azure was. And, I went in there and, so fast forward now, a Microsoft most valuable professional in DevOps category. We are just 26 in the world, out of, we have 4,000 MVPs, but 26 in DevOps category, just to tell you that, when you dedicate a lot of time, hardly, if you can look at my face, you will notice that, kind of reddish. I hardly sleep, but I'm not saying you should not sleep. But, I wake up every day because in tech, there is something I always want to tell people that are joining tech. There are a lot of dedications. If you do not want to be where you are, like 6 years ago, you need to continue reading every day. I read every day, like every day. But my reading every day is just like an hour, 30 minutes. But, at the end of the day, this is one thing I always want to do. So, from 2019, I joined Tech Expert 2019. I met Akwesiri 2020. We were in the cloud space at that particular time. We learned a lot, but this wasn't what we were doing at Tech Expert. We started, moving into different parts. I was doing a lot of cloud computing. Then now I currently work with a company called Willis Toward Watson, WTW in the UK. And Willis Toward Watson is a company behind insurance companies. They actually develop applications for insurance companies in the UK. Not in the UK only, but they are actually sitting in the UK. And I work as a senior associate cloud and DevOps. And Yeah, I would say that's the eye level. As this session progresses, I'm sure you guys will still, learn to, get to know more about me. So, like I said, I'm a Microsoft MVP. I'm an Azure community leader, and yeah, just the eye level. But you get to know, maybe by some questions from me or during the interaction, during the session, you get to know more about me.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. It's a pleasure to, how will I say, this is really massive. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. For me to bring people like of your caliber here, that means this community, we are lucky. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. We really appreciate. So, Asiri, you can
Sorry,
continue.
is this? I don't know. Is it something you do? I like to always put faces to people I talk to. Is this something people can be on camera if?
Yeah, they are the
they're
one that decided to off their cap. Please put on your camera. Feel free. Let's see the
All right.
amazing faces. Yeah, so I'm not against that.
Yep. So be deep diving into the whole presentation stuff. But first of all, before I go on, I'll just give a little in-depth of the whole career journey, right? Like what my colleague Babafemi have said is a journey and not IT a whole in quotes is a journey. Is not a Ponzi scheme like the way people talk about it currently. Many of us, if you listen to our stories, we started way back. I even have people on this call currently that are on this training, on this webinar that started with us, right? And they know the stories. It's not a Ponzi scheme and it's not a 1 to 100 scheme. It's a journey. If you understand very well, we started with me, myself, I read computer science, Uloma read computer science. We did masters. From masters, we went for jobs, started gaining experience. From experience, we grew up to where we are now. If you listen to the story of Babafemi, started from fine art. From fine art, he changed department to another department. For that, he started IT support. From IT support, he came to the cloud. From cloud, he's where he is now. Right? It's actually a journey and not a 0 to 100. So for me, when I after graduating from computer science from Delta State University, the thing that was on my head was I have to go to Lagos, right? I have to be in Lagos because Lagos was the whole headquarter of IT hubs, right? But for me to go, I have to acquire a skill, not just the skills, also gain experience on that skills. So what I did first was to start learning what today we call Windows servers. I started learning how to manage Windows servers, how to promote a Windows server to a domain controller, how to manage users on or how to manage users on Active Directory, how to network devices. You understand how to network devices, right, and how to communicate effectively with end users. That in IT field, communication is a very key word. You have to understand you have to know how to communicate very well, right? So how to communicate with end users. So I had my first job at I had my first job at is it Academic Journals? Academic Journal. I had my first job at Academic Journals and IT support. So that's where I actually gained my skills, improve on my skills, had experience, work with live environment. Then you can't even, when I mean live environment that is under production, right? That you can go there, do your configuration as you're doing it, is going live. You understand? The one I was working with was just on my laptop. I would just spin up a virtual machine or a virtual. Then we have no idea what a virtual machine was, right? So we work with VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a VM that you can implement. It's a VM that you can implement on your laptop. So work with VirtualBox and I did a lot of configuration. Then if Uloma knows that, then my laptop used to crash, and it crashes, I fix it, bring it back, and again I continue my learning, right? So after that, I did my master's. After my master's, then I was I would say I'm a guy that is actually driven by goals, what I want to achieve. I don't feel comfortable where I am. If I'm in this place 1 year and I feel I need to achieve more, I'll leave here I am and move to the other place, right? So after that, I went for my master, did my master's with Uloma and all my friends there in Nsukka. And after Nsukka, I had a call. We all had a call, one way or the other, right? So I had a call. I had a call from a friend in Texas for like, this is Rafa. Where you do? You don't finish. Sorry, I'm using PG. I'm just discussing like a guy man with my friend. Mr. Rafa, where you do? You don't finish your master's? I said yes. I said, okay, Rafa, you feel come Lagos. When you reach Lagos, you get where you go see. I say yes. I have a house stay. Say no problem, come to Lagos. The next morning I came down to Lagos, got to Lagos, took me to the HRO, applied for the job, started applying for the job, they called me for interview. I did my interview. And the next day, I have to travel back to Delta. So on my way to Delta, the HRO called me that I've gotten the job and I have to resume the upper week, Tuesday of it, right? So I go to home, pack my bags and everything, and I resume Tech Expert. Tech Expert is a foundation for everybody. I would say 90% of cloud engineers you have in Nigeria today, right, are from Tech Expert, are a product of Tech Expert. Tech Expert is a company that you just have a little knowledge. You just have a knowledge of how this thing works, how a system works, how you can actually interconnect system together, how you can actually understand Windows servers, understand Windows system, understand the whole concept of IT, and they will employ you, right? They employed us then and went to the floor. They trained us for 6 weeks on Microsoft Azure Identity. After that, I feel comfortable. I'm in Lagos, I'm learning, I'm supporting Microsoft customers, go on call every day. But at the end of the day, I have another drive. This is not where I want to be, right? Mind, get this in quote, drives. I have another drive that this is not where I want to be, right? And we were together with friends that are being driven by the same goals. Then I had a friend called Benga Ojomo. You can look him up on LinkedIn. His name is Benga Ojomo. Benga was doing well. He was working in Tech Expert. And when he was working in Tech Expert, he was doing a gig. And we were paying him well. So every day I see Benga with new shoes. I love shoes very well, you know me. I see Benga with new shoes. He'll come to work today. He's putting on something, putting on a Jordan. The next day comes to work, he's putting on Nike. The next day Adidas. Just different. How far? What's going on? He said, I said, okay, since this whole thing is like, just dash me money. He said, like, listen, I will not dash you money. Yes, I'm going to show you what to do to equip yourself so that you be like me. That's what Benga said. At the end of the day, he gave me a material. These things, we trained ourselves in it. He gave me a material. He said, listen, take this and go and learn. I sat on my decks. Bulugbe is my weakness because we work in the same space. I sat on my decks. I go to work. You know Lagos, if you're very conversant with Lagos, you know Lagos very well. Lagos, if you're in your house, you leave your house 5 a.m., you're going to work, definitely you're going to be in traffic, right? My work used to resume by 7 a.m. and I close by 4. I go to work as early as 4 a.m. I leave my house to work. Right? When I get to work, I pick because you just have to pick cases and support customers. I pick my number of cases for that day. I support my customers. And the next thing I'll do is to bring up my training material. Aside from my system, I would go through tutorials, learn, fail, spoil my environment, ask questions, go back to Benga, ask questions, go back to my friends, ask questions. So what tech expert was building in a way that we have different structures of different support structures. We have for identity, we have virtual machine, we have networking, we have app services, right? But when you're training in DevOps, right, it covers these areas, everything into one. So for you to call yourself a successful cloud engineer, you're supposed to have an idea about what infrastructures, have an idea about security, have an idea about app development, right? So I was having friends in those areas. So whenever I have an issues, I run to them. Bro, Safar, I'm getting, okay, do it like this, do it like this. And that was it. I trained myself. After that, I got my own job. And today I'm working, even where I am today, I'm not still satisfied. I'm still looking for more. So the journey today is let your goal drive you to what you want to become. Let your goal drive you so that you can actually achieve what you want to achieve. I don't feel comfortable where I am. You understand? I'm a guy that don't feel very, very comfortable. If I'm here for 2 years, I don't feel comfortable. I want to move to another place. And that's the mindset of being a tech, let me just use the word, a tech guy. Don't feel comfortable where you are. Always have the mindset of moving to the next, learning new things. Today, remember, tech evolves. Today, you might be learning something today. By tomorrow, now that thing you're learning is absolute. Is out of the market. Like what I told Bafemi one day, when we were doing Terraform, I don't know, let me just use the word Terraform, when we're learning Terraform, we learned Terraform, we're very good at it. But today, Terraform now is going out. They are bringing new tools, and you have to go and learn. So if you are not being driven by your goals, you just feel comfortable with Terraform. I say, this is where I am. I give up. But you have to continue to learn. Azure, the platform we're training on, or the Microsoft, the whole space of cloud engineering, that's Azure. Azure today, Azure updates their software or update their environment every now and then. And as they are updating, you yourself, you're updating with them. As they are changing the mood of deploying application, you yourself, you're going there, you're going to learn it so that you know how to do it. Because your what they call it, your manager can come on and tell you, okay, Siri, please, we want to deploy this application and we don't want to use this traditional method anymore. Azure has something new. Please, can you just go and see how it works, understand the whole architecture, draw something out for us, and try to deploy this application in the next 2 weeks. They are giving you a deadline. You have to go and learn. You have to understand, and you have to deploy. 2 weeks. You fail in 2 weeks, you get query. So is actually the whole tech space is you have to learn. You have to just don't be comfortable. Let your goals, let what you have marked down drive you to what you want to achieve. Right? So this is just a high, not high level, because I actually went a little deep into it, right? Of how I transited from where I was to where I am today. I don't know if Bulugbe wants to talk more on this before we go into our presentation for the day.
I'm not sure I really want to say anything, but I think you have been using a lot of technical jargons for them. Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about Terraform, talking about some of them might not even, they're just moving into tech. So don't mind Siri. So
I'm sorry, guys.
Like I said, I got into the tech world, just by mistake. And the way my journey has been, it's been crazy. Like I've said, I started as a Java developer, then went into CCNA, and then got my first job, as an IT system analyst. And I think all those things actually, help me now, because as a DevOps engineer, you need to have knowledge across all these domains. So because you are the interface between the dev guys and also the IT operation guys. So majorly what we do as a DevOps engineer is deploying infrastructure automatically, also deploying applications automatically. I think once we start going to the presentation slide, you will be able to explain more about what cloud computing is, what DevOps is, but let me just, say more about, just what Celia said, said you need to understand what your journey wants to be, what you really want to be. Like I said, I've worked in companies where I've worked for 14 days, 30 days, 4 months. And when I start naming some of these companies, they are not just small companies. Okay, just take, for instance, InterSwitch. I was in InterSwitch for 4 months. And, yeah, InterSwitch actually paid me twice, twice more than what I was earning before I joined them. And people were doing great. And the first month when I joined InterSwitch, they actually increased my salary. I got a salary increase of 10%. It was crazy, and there were other, benefits also. But at the end of the day, I wasn't doing what I wanted to, at that particular time. What I was thinking I would be doing was not what I was doing. And like Syria said, you'll be so obsolete at some point and you will not be able to move. I've seen people coming all the way from Nigeria, getting to the UK and not able to, get a job. They've been there for 2 years, 3 years, and you ask why. We've been doing tech together back at home. Why are you guys, not able to secure a job? But because, what they're doing is not what they really want. Yeah, do you understand? So you might be accustomed to just a particular domain within a particular organization, and that's what you do. This is the way I work. I'm sure for people that have worked with me back in Tech Experts, and they know me. Even people back in the school then, I work with, I challenge people. When I joined Tech, there were two in identity management. Then there were two very difficult, technical domains people do not want to pick cases from. We call it Azure B2C. I'm sure you guys are conversant with, when you try to log in into any website, web application, as we call it, you would see the option of sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook. The technology behind it is the Azure B2C, which is business to consumer. And there was one other one for storing secret, which we call Azure Key Vault. All these cloud services. And when I got into the space, I was like, no, these two domains, these two technologies, I will be the go-to guy, And even people on the floor were like, who is this guy? He just came in, and you have started challenging us. That first week, they assigned a case related to, those domains. I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks because it was very difficult. I go home and start thinking about my life, and I was like, oh, I just got this job. How did I got myself into this, this issue, But after a while, I had people, joining me on calls. They showed me ways. But one thing I want you guys to know, I've seen people come to me and say, when I want to move into tech, what certification should I go for? And I tell people, it is not all about certification. I need you to understand the technology first. Certification can get you job, but you are not going to be able to keep your job with just certification. You need a very good. I will tell you something. Where I work presently, yeah, I work with big guys, and when they talk, the manager comes back to me and say, Baba Femi, what do you think? Though all of them will have given their suggestion, and he wants to just hear the final say from me. It's not as if I'm better than them, but he believes, I have maybe an expert knowledge on those domains. And what got me there, I'm not a theoretical person. Yes, it's good to read all the documentations, but when you don't practice what you are learning, you are not really learning, because majority of those services in Azure, in cloud, it is not the way they've written those documentation. If you try to, replicate the steps in there, you're not going to. Sometimes you might run into errors and you don't know how to fix it. So that was what I was doing at that particular time. I always getting my hands dirty, even for the technologies I really know. I still go back there to read them. So I always say, do not, yes, you can get, yes. And that's why at Microsoft then, because tech was actually supporting Microsoft customer, you would see a product manager, that actually was involved in building the product. And the person only maybe Azure fundamental. And you feel like, oh, guy, I as a support engineer, I even have like 15 certifications. Who are you? So somebody told me, this is just a joke. They said certifications are for the poor. and, and then so you're trying to say, yes, check. I also have a knowledge, but it's good because in the market, there is certifications can actually get you an interview to say, oh, this is what we needed. Then how do you now keep the job when you finally secure that job? How do you keep it? That's where your technical knowledge, your expertise in those domains will kick in. So when I was talking the other time, I said I wake up every morning around 5 to read. It doesn't mean you have to wake up every morning to read. And this is what I've keep telling people. 30 minutes a day is enough for you. So that means in a week, you will have 3 hours, 30 minutes. So you don't need to. IT, when you're learning, it's so boring. So boring. So if you try to say, oh, I'm going to do 2 hours today, 3 hours today, you'll get tired. You don't do it that way. Just do 30 minutes today, 30 minutes tomorrow. And when you feel you are getting more, let's say comfortable, start doing 45 minutes. And you don't have to do 2 hours, 5 hours straight and say, no, I will read all these things. So science has it that when you try to do a 5 hours reading, the first 2 hours and the last 2 hours, you forget everything you read during those times. You only remember what you read, no, sorry, you only remember what you read in the first 30 minutes and what you have read in the last 30 minutes. Whatever you have in between, you forget it. So the drive, like Syria said, if you believe where you are is not what, where you should be, it's move. And don't be afraid, face challenges, try to learn, relearn. And I believe, people are very successful in tech, and it's not because they know everything. You cannot know everything. That's it. Even for the fact that Microsoft has awarded me a Microsoft MVP in DevOps doesn't mean I know everything about DevOps. But when we start discussing about DevOps tools, I will tell you, this is it. This is what I know, and this is what I know. There is no way I can know everything, because when it comes to DevOps, when we start talking about DevOps now, we have so many tools, like 100 of it. But the good thing is, once you know one, you can actually, just like what when Cynthia was actually presenting, this is it. When you learn, when I actually learned Java then, it was easy for me to transfer my knowledge to C#. I remember in my 500 level, I collected the project. Everybody was running for the project because I needed money. I went to collect project from mechanical students. It was Fortran. I nearly died because of 7,500 I collected from them. I nearly died. I couldn't sleep in my house. Every day they were coming to where is our project? So because it was crazy. It died. Because even the best guy at that time, told me not to collect a Fortran project because it was crazy. That was the first that was the first programming language, I knew wasn't ending with, a semicolon. You only end Fortran with white space. It was very difficult for me to learn, but I had to deliver their project because I've collected their 7,500. So it was easy for me to transfer my knowledge, from that Java to. So that's just it. So let's just focus on the slide for now. I think let's talk about the importance of IT support, why you want to move into tech space. Like we've said, yeah, Tony, Fortran was crazy. Yeah. So let's talk about it. How we actually, if I'm moving into tech, like now, how will I do it? Do I want to go to, the paths I went to at that particular time? How do you, if I'm in your shoes now, how do I want to, do this? And please do not, tech is not difficult to learn. And this is one thing people start saying when they want to get in tech, they say, oh, am I going to be coding? What is coding? What is it? If you can learn, that Igbo language, that Yoruba language, that English language, you can learn this also. So it's just people learning PowerShell. And I was telling my student one day, if you want to learn PowerShell, very easy. PowerShell is just verb and noun. Go and check it. You will see get date, new, if you want to do anything, PowerShell always starts with verb. It's either you are setting something, you are creating something new, you are getting something. So you always see the get, set, new. And what do you want to, what's the item you want to actually, create, or you want to set the property on? And that is it. And when you understand those things, it's easy for you to, just the same way I've worked in a company, this is a secret between us, please. And then when I was working in that company, what I do is, because I've created some PowerShell that will automate some items for me. And I will add the tags there. I will work this for 2 hours. Then I'll go to bed. This script will be running, creating those resources. And if I was using the GUI, I would be on my system for 2 hours. But I will be sleeping, and the PowerShell is running, creating whatever needs to be created. And after the 2 hours, I'm back and say, oh, I'm done. So no one would say, oh, you've not been doing this for, but you can see the end result. So do not run away from coding. But that's not the main thing. All these DevOps, cloud engineering, you can actually, be in that space without knowing anything about coding. Good. But if you want to make your life easy, you just know how to talk to the system, know how to talk to your computer, and that's it. So let me just leave it there. Then let's look at what we have for today. Then from there, maybe from your questions, you'll get to know more, about me. Siri, I think I will pass this back to you now.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Bulugbe, for that rich insights to your whole career journey, and also giving advice on how to start up the process and how to go about it, right? So I just want to see add to what Bulugbe has said. Nobody should be scared of coding, right? As far you're starting your journey, right? At one point, you will definitely write a line of code. Sure, you will definitely write a line of code. You might just write a line of code to deploy, just to deploy a virtual machine, or a line of code to just set resource group and some other jargons. Sorry, I'm going deep. Some other jargons, right? So just free your mind. One thing I love about myself is free your mind. Once you free your mind, whatever you feel you want to achieve, you'll be able to achieve it by active learning. You understand? So that's why we are still here. What people don't have, or what we don't have when we're starting up this whole learning journey, is what we're trying to give to the newbies that are coming into the tech space. You come into the tech space, you already been there, but you want to learn something new, right? We already have a platform to manage the whole process, not just to manage, not just a roadside trainers that I think in Nigeria, you just graduate and they call you to come and train something. You read about it, and once you read about it, you go to the board and you start training. No, we're talking about people that have actually succeeded in the field of cloud engineering. We have the likes of Abafemi, we have the likes of Delta, we have the likes of Ajala, we have the likes of Ochanya. Those are the likes of people that have actually taught some trainers in our own academy that have getting their hands dirty, right? And they said, let's create a platform whereby people can actually come in and can train them. And I have a lot of students that can testify to this. If you go to our LinkedIn page, check Protect Academic Solutions, you'll see some of our testimonies we already have there. So I'll go down to the slide currently, and no, we have done the welcome and agenda for the day, and we just go straight to the IT support, right? And understanding the importance of IT support, right? So first of all, should I make this question open? What we understand by IT support? Can somebody just give us a brief summary or just a definition of what you understand by the term IT support? I know we have guys here that have passed this stage, right? You can also help with just giving a little explanation. So what do you understand by the term IT support? Jude Ogu, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So, like, what I understand by it is from experience. Let's say I'm using something like Namecheap server and I have it, right? When I chat with their live chat, there are some guys that are technical that just assist me on a particular issue I have. So when I hear IT support, I always think about those guys from that perspective. People that work for a company, they don't necessarily code, but they understand the things within the system and they can like interface with customers and fix the challenges the customers are having for them.
Yeah, nice one, Jude. Ayobami, nice one, Jude Ayobami. Go on.
Yeah. So what I understand by IT support, it can be in-house support or it can be for customers. So if you're supporting in-house, I probably supporting employees for an organization, maybe with their laptop. So you have to understand maybe the hardware part of things, how you can set up security, maybe set up keyloggers, or just having like a backup recovery keys to restore the laptops, Windows licensing, and the rest of them, Active Directory. So that's basically what I understand by IT support. And you have to like resolve tickets, you have to work with SLAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Jude and Ayobami, you guys have actually spoken well. And IT support, is there, are you saying something? Isiro, you're saying something, or just mute your mic, please. So you guys have actually killed the definition of IT support, right? So IT support are guys, first line support, technical support that supports a particular infrastructure, right? They are the first guy you run to whenever you have an issue to resolve, right? So when they can't, so mind you, when they can't resolve the issue, they can escalate. So they have different levels of IT support, right? They have level 1, level 2, level 3. Then they have technical lead, or they have SMEs, right? So IT support are the first line of communications between what a user of a system, right, and the company. Sometimes we mistake IT support with customer service. We mistake IT support with customer service. Customer service is when I pick my phone, I call what do you call it? I pick my phone, I call Jumia. Hello Jumia. I'm trying to clear my chat, my cart, and I'm having some errors. So. Okay, he gets the error and he escalates it. Also, that person can also have an idea of what that system to support that person to clear out that error. Or that customer service does not have an idea on how to clear it. He just collects the query and send it to the technical team, right? So you as an IT support guy or a tech support guy, technical support, you are the first line of communication between a company and an end user. Right? Between the company and the end user. Like when we were working in Tech Expert, right? We were level 2 engineers. I would say level 2 engineer because we are technical. We have level 1. Level 1 deals on subscriptions, but we are level 2 engineers. From level 2, you go to level 3. From level 3, you become a technical lead. From technical lead, they promote you to SMEs, subject matters. Right? So we as the level 2 support engineer, we get tickets, we read through the ticket, understand the ticket, and try to resolve it. So it's when we cannot resolve that particular ticket, we push that ticket to an upper, we escalate the ticket to the next level. And that's the level 3, right? So as a technical support engineer, first of all, your role is to be technically sound in the technology you're supporting. You have to understand that technology you're supporting. Either you're supporting a technology or you are actually working in a company and you are assisting the users. When I mean the users, the employees of that company to resolve their day-to-day issues concerning what? Their system. Someone can call you that, Siri or Ayobami, please, my laptop just had an error and I can't connect to the internet, right? The next thing you're supposed to do, you start troubleshooting. So if you don't have the skills of networking or how to check an IP address or how to check how IP address are being allocated to systems, right? Or understand the DHCP systems when it comes to Windows servers or networking, you won't know how to resolve those issues, right? So first of all, you have to be technically sound in the field you're supporting. Understand the technology. Let the technology be at your fingertips. Like what Baba Femi talked about when he talked about P2C. When Baba Femi came to Tech Expo, I was not there. He came before me. I think 4 months before I came, right? When he came to Tech Expert, he trained me. Baba Femi trained me in Tech Expert in B2C, right? And we learned a lot from him. You're just seeing there is a whole lot of it's a whole lot, right? It's a whole lot. He trained me in B2C, right? And I learned a lot from him. When a ticket is being assigned to you, they pick people in that for they pick, like they might just say, okay, we have a B2C ticket in our team, we need a high rating. Who can handle this ticket very well? Please assign it to Papa Femi. They will give it to Papa Femi. Papa Femi will work on it. But me as a new guy, I want to learn how to do B2C. I'll tell them, assign me the B2C ticket, right? I want to learn. Assign me the ticket. I'll meet Papa Femi. Papa Femi, okay, look at this error I'm having. I've troubleshoot, I've done this, I've done that, but there's no way out. Please, what is the next step to do? Papa Femi explains to me what's the next step to do and how to fire that and get that issue resolved. So as a technical support or an IT support guy, first thing first, you need to understand your domain skills. You need to know those technologies at your fingertip. And after that, you need to know how to communicate very well. Communication is key at the stage of IT support. communication is key. You need to know how to communicate clearly with individuals. And the third thing is what? You need to know how to collaborate. In IT, there is no how will I say it? There is no chairman in anything. We have what we are good at. There's something I'm good at. There's something Papa for me is good at. There's something my friends are good at. And we just come together, right? And put our heads together to resolve these things together. Collaboration is key when it comes to IT support. So the first thing you should learn as an IT support guy is to understand the different components of a laptop. Understand that first. What does the RAM do? How does the RAM work? What is the how does the CPU works? How can I troubleshoot a system? How should I be able to network a system to another system? Understanding networking, right? Understanding networking, understanding the foundation of computers. That's IT support. Understanding the foundation of computer. If you don't understand this foundation first, and you're jumping into something more technical, like you don't understand what the computer is, you don't know it, or you don't understand the function of a RAM, you don't understand the function of an hard disk, you don't understand the difference between input and output systems. You don't understand those foundations, right? Then it will be very difficult for you to actually go to the next stage. You need to have an idea of these foundations. But apart from your hand is up.
Yes, so that we don't just keep them.
Okay.
They also will want to ask questions. I think they should just like you said, all these customer support that we know, but now for IT support, we are talking about technical skills now, technical issues, resolving technical issues. So it's more of technical of contact support or customer support or what we know, about all those customer care. But now we are now talking about, technical issues. So majorly, you might even be an IT support person and you don't even know about RAM, because you only want to learn what is actually attributed to whatever you're supporting. It might be based on organization, like Ayobami has said, it might be something based on the organization, it might be something, based on a particular product. So that's just it. Because I know, looking at time, looking at some of the things we still want to discuss, at the end of the day, you might not be able to give people opportunities to. And he has actually said everything about skills that are needed or skills that are required when it comes to technical support, IT support, and the likes. You at least understand, the two things about computing system, about computers. I'm sure everybody knows about it. Even the mobile phones we are currently holding is actually a computing system, Then we all have seen, maybe in school or where we currently work, I'm sure there will be some guys, they call themselves IT guys. There will be an IT room, and they tell you this room is not available to not technical guys or not IT. Those are just computing things. And what they've learned, so they've learned about computing. And for people coming into this space, it doesn't mean that, if you did not study computer science back in school, you would have issues. No, I will tell you 50% of people in tech now that are now fighting our job with us actually came from different backgrounds. Majority of my friends came from agriculture background, they studied agri back in school, they studied mathematics. We can even say physics, electrical engineering, even still kind of, close to what we do. But I've seen lawyers, medical doctors, changing their career, to tech. But which is good. But the main thing is just understand whatever domain you want to go into. You need to learn the basic. So I would say if you want to go into cloud computing, I as a person, I might not just want to start from understanding the RAM and stuff, but you still want to know the fundamental, because at some point, you might want to have discussion with colleagues and they are saying, they're talking about this and you don't even know anything about it. And this is what I keep saying, people are still asking questions about certification. Certification is good,
No, we'll answer them. We'll answer the
yeah,
questions.
but
Well,
I love the fact that just understand the technology, have a very good knowledge about the technology you want to support. I would tell you, when I go for certification, when I write exams, I don't look for DOMs. That's what people do. You see people, they're just 2 weeks into tech and they will have posted it on LinkedIn. Architecture, senior architecture certification, AWS, or whatever they call, those certifications. And I look at it, I say, what's going on? And that's why I don't care about your certifications on LinkedIn. Can you really do what you? That's why when people go for trainings and they will tell you, oh, I paid £2,000. Somebody I knew, I was telling him, okay, wait for my cohort. I'm going to add you to my class. And he said he wanted to go and learn DevOps. He paid £2,000. And the guy could not even create a pipeline for me. After 6 months, he has learned the DevOps. And I said, guy, what did you learn? So what those guys, what they do is they will have created everything, created the YAML file, and they just tell them, click here, click here, click here, and it will deploy and say, oh, you guys have done it, hands-on experience. That's not it. You need to have a very good knowledge. So just whatever domain you want to go into, get the skills, see, and that's why you can actually trust Siri for that. It will tell you whatever domain you want to go into, what these are some of the skills that are needed. Like I said, you cannot know everything. And some of those skills you will learn them when you're on the job. So what are some of the career opportunities, Siri? Maybe I think that would be the best. Maybe we can just you
we'll
can
just
go
talk
into
about the
DevOps.
career
You
opportunities.
can just make it
Yeah.
interactive,
Yeah.
So what are some of the career opportunities? Yes, we know technical support is part of it. Depending on the domains you want, domain you want to go into, even when you come into cloud, there are a lot of things. But what are some of the career opportunities when it comes to IT support? Sure, you've talked about it. Somebody talked about hardware support, or system analyst, technical support engineers. Those are some of the career opportunities when it comes to IT support. So I think we should go to the next slide. Let's try to give people. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure Cyril will be doing more talk when it comes to this. But let me just tell you about cloud computing. It's not as if everything is happening in the cloud, up there. People can maybe in the sky. No, it's not. I was looking at some comics and people were like, they were trying to catapult their server into the sky. And the manager was like, is this how to get into cloud? He said, yes. We've been doing this for years. So when I was talking about the fact that, okay, we have computing devices like servers in the IT room. I'm sure if you guys have seen IT rooms where you have servers, you have some racks of servers, you have some systems, you have laptops. If not, most of those that have graduated from universities back in Nigeria, you would have seen, I know we used to have IT center, or whatever center we used to go to print our docket for exam, and it's just having those things, your laptop, everything. Now, for cloud, you do not have access to the physical system anymore. It's actually in another location, with where you do not have access to that physical system, but you can actually still work on it. Do you understand? Now, you can deploy on that same server, but you do not manage the physical system itself. So when it comes to that, that means you are not managing the system itself, whether it goes down, it comes up, you want to shut it down, update on that system. Okay, oh, the patient has taken light. Where are we going to get light? Okay, IT room needs to be, cool. We need to be chilled. We need to get AC. We need to get generator. I was talking about this some days ago. I was on a call with one of my HR back then, and we were just laughing at each other. And what we used to do was, when there is a fight between the HR department and the IT department back then. So what we do is we know how to win the fight. So maybe we have been telling them, oh, this AC is not working, and our IT room needs to be very chilled, so that we don't have downtime on lights. At the time when we have issues, we'll send a mail that will copy the MD, copy the management, saying, if you guys do not provide, another AC in the next 30 minutes, which we know is not possible. We've been telling you this for the past 5 weeks. We are going to shut down the server. And when we shut down the server, because we actually a retail organization, I was working with a retail organization, all the 63 locations will not be able to sell. And we just shut it down. And the MD will send them one nasty email. Everybody will be running, come back to IT to say, oh, can we get you something else? That's the way to win the war. But normally, all those IT stuff now are no more with us. They are just in another location we call data center. And these data centers are managed by the cloud providers. So we have different cloud providers like Microsoft providing Microsoft Azure, Amazon providing AWS, Google providing Google. And you can see here, I think Cyril, I've said that, but what are some of these cloud provider models that you have here? Okay, so I think there is actually a typo there. It shouldn't be model, it should be cloud service types. When we talk about models, we talk about public, private, and hybrid model. Like even if you are leveraging on cloud in the public space, but for the type, this is just talking about some of the services that we can actually deploy in the cloud. Sigi, you want to talk about this IaaS,
okay,
SaaS, and
all right. Thank you very much, Blue, my able senior colleague. So, like what Blue have actually said, cloud computing is a very interesting area currently, and it's actually sellable. And it cuts across the whole world, so you can work remotely from anywhere you are when you have these skills, and we have a platform where you can actually apply for jobs outside your own region. So what's cloud computing? So cloud computing, first of all, is a model. I will use the model or a services that is being rendered over the internet, right? Whereby you have access to different resources, different machine, SQL database, storage services, etc. over the internet, right? So you don't have to keep storing devices, or you have a hard drive. You want to store your files on a hard drive, and you just plug into your system and you copy your system down to that hard drive, right? So you can actually, with cloud computing, you can actually use the Google Drive. You can actually use OneDrive. You can actually use another drive. What's the other one? You have Google Drive. We have OneDrive. We have one currently.
I think that should be enough. I think that's the
okay. Sorry. Okay, that's the perfect example.
So I believe that's the perfect example just to tell them what cloud computing is. Everybody is leveraging on cloud computing. When you're actually leveraging on Google Drive, you are saving your images, you are saving your videos, your documents, and you don't even care where those documents are being saved.
Yeah,
it's saved on someone else's system. There's
somewhere.
Yeah, it's saved somewhere on some. That's why when you change your phone and you just sign into Google, you are still able to, get access
Download
to
all your
those.
contacts.
Same as
Very
when you have
important.
your Gmail, your Outlook, wherever you are, all those emails you are sending, they are just files. And when you change your phone, when you change your system, when you log into a different system, you're able to download all those emails because they are files. So let's just let's move from here, because at the end of the day we are making. So for SaaS, we call it software as a service,
Software as a service.
and they are just bringing your own credentials. So like the Gmail we talked about, you do not need to worry yourself about anything. You don't care about what computer is being loaded, what location the system that is hosting your Gmail is. You don't care. When you come in, I just want to sign in on my phone, get my mails. And when we talk about PaaS, we are saying platform as a service, and Google Drive is a very good example of this. There's a platform that has been presented to you to save your document, to save your photos, to save your image, your videos, and you are only taking advantage of that platform. And you have been attributed, you have been assigned a particular space, let's say 15 gig of space. And if there's a need for you, and for you to now say, oh, I want a premium Google Drive, you can go as high as 100 GB. And when you 100 gig, it's still on an hard drive on a system. So just being partitioned, you are sharing that resources with some other people. I asked, maybe Siri wants to talk about that, but I think a very good example will be, we talked about the fact that you have Google Drive and you've been allocated 15 gig. What if you are the one at the back end now allocating this thing? So let's say you have access to a let's say storage account is a very good example. Now you can allocate spaces to people to say, oh, you take this 15 gig, you take this 15 gig, you take this 15 gig. That's for the IRs. I know people have questions, and just
No, there's actually a lot of questions on the chat. So
can we go to
definitely
the
we'll
next
go.
slide, and maybe
So
during the conversation we'll be able to at least talk about in more stuff about cloud computing in depth. Can you go to the next slide? Say, I think we can just quickly wrap this up and give them back some time to ask their questions.
ask questions, yeah.
So we talked about the fact. Siri, do you want to go here, or should I just go ahead?
Okay, let me just give you an intro. Let me just introduce the place whereby you just go in depth about
That'll be
it,
fine.
right? Yeah. So DevOps practices is like what we are saying. We'll be saying a career journey, right, from technical support down to cloud engineer and becoming a DevOps engineer, right? So you cannot become a DevOps engineer without understanding the fundamentals of cloud computing. You have to understand what an infrastructure as a service is, what's the platform as a service, what is SaaS as a service, understand how this whole platform works, right? And understand how to work with those whole platforms before you become a DevOps engineer. So what's DevOps? Like the name, Dev and Ops. DevOps is bringing together development and operation into one team. So as a DevOps engineer, your day-to-day activity is to pick up a code somewhere, automate the process of deploying that code to an environment whereby the cloud engineers will manage and support the infrastructures, the platform, or the SaaS, manage and support. So the basic ideology of DevOps centered around development, software development life cycles. We know what we call the Agile methodology. Like my able madam, this founder of this Vision Bling, right? You understand the concept of deploying softwares, the agile methodology, right? And the whole circles, how it goes round, down from deployment, testing, research, testing, deployment testing, then push to production, right? So there's a life cycle of how this thing goes. So DevOps now come into play to be able to automate the process of deploying these things in artificial, like very quick. You understand? Like very quick. You just deploy your application, and in the next 2 minutes, it's actually on the web, right? And it actually helps. One of the advantages of DevOps, it actually helps to resolve errors or bug very quick. Once it's been approved, you see a bug. When it's been approved, you can actually roll back whatever you have deployed, and you deploy on that version to the cloud, to your application. So DevOps brings a connection between the operation system and the development system. That's why today you see DevOps engineer doing a lot, because you have to understand, sometimes you have to understand how a code is being developed. You have to understand how to test this code. You have to understand how to write a CI/CD pipeline to develop this code down to an environment. So you can deploy it to any environment. You can deploy it to Azure, you can deploy it to AWS, you can deploy it to GCP. I know we didn't talk about these cloud companies, right? So on the cloud, different cloud providers we have currently, the key 3 cloud providers we currently have are Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. So Microsoft cloud environment is called Azure, right? Then Amazon cloud environment is called AWS. Then Google cloud environment is called GCP. So for the principles and the practices of DevOps, the tools of DevOps and technologies, I think my senior colleague will dive into that very well. So we'll go over to you.
We are not going to, because we have limited time now. I'm just going to explain in the layman time. I'm not just going to go through all these things one after the other, but I just want you guys to understand why DevOps actually came into play. You know, back in the days, if you have worked in this, so people don't want to go into dev because, especially people just coming into tech. And back then, when people are trying to develop, because developers would develop whatever product or application on their own system. I like Windows. I don't want to deploy on a Linux environment. You get what I'm saying? And as a developer, I just want to, continue working on my Windows system. So on Windows, each application, requires what we call, let's say dependencies, libraries. There is no way, sometimes when you want to run something on Windows, it might not be compatible with what you have on your Linux environment. So when I talk about Linux, I'm just talking about Mac. So like Mac system for you guys that are using Mac. If I'm okay with this, I don't want to change. When they finally deploy or when they finally finish up with their whatever they are doing on their application, they need to send it to the operation guys. Operation guys are the one that have actually created the server or deploy the server that are needed to host those applications. And what they do now is they pass the application to the operation guy saying, we've developed this application, we have tested it, you guys should go and deploy it. So they've changed, they've changed team. They maybe because the operation guys might not really have coding knowledge. They come back to say, what you have given us is not working. We've tried to develop to deploy it, and it's throwing some errors. It might be because it was actually deployed on a Windows system, and they were trying to deploy on a Linux machine.
Linux environment.
So it's a different environment. So DevOps actually, came into play to actually bridge the dev team and also the operation team. It's just like in between. So it's just like a model, to make sure that we get product from talking stage or whatever stage you want to call it to the finished stage within a limited time. So let's just look at it at that. But for now, do not bother yourself about the jargons, the tools. There are a lot of tools in market. I'm sure you guys will have been seeing, but one tool I know you guys will know about is the Git. Majority of you people will have been seeing GitHub, and you look like, what is happening on this GitHub environment? So a lot of things in there is just to bridge whatever is happening in the dev team and also the operations team. It's just bringing them together. It's a culture, to actually deploy our application faster or to get our products faster to the market. Back in the days when they were deploying applications, applications are deployed, and on Google app, you see people testing it. They come back to say, hey, this application is not working. Then the owner of the application will bring the application down, try to fix it and get it back to the market. But for DevOps, the feedback is taken back immediately, and whatever needs to be fixed are deployed. Cynthia, please. I think that should be the end. We should just be able to, we just ask questions. Yeah.
Okay. This learning resources certification part and tips is actually very important, but please just kind of summarize. Because this session is supposed to be like 1 hour 30 minutes, but I know this particular topic is going to take 2 hours because we are doing IT support, DevOps, and cloud engineering. So I know it's really going to take time. So if you can summarize this part, then the next thing we'll do is talk about your academy. Then when you're done, talk about what you guys offer. Then they can now ask their questions, because I know this from experience, this question is not going to end today. So we'll pick as much as we can, maybe 5 to at least 6 or 7. Then we'll
okay, all right, no problem.
I think let me just quickly take this slide, then Cyril take this next slide. For learning resources, I'm not just going to say, oh, this is what you need to go and learn. So you don't just go on internet and start, reading anything. You don't just go, yes, on YouTube, there are a lot of videos talking about, technical domain, technical skill, technical tools. And one thing I know is people have different motives. Some people just want to make money. And that's why you see someone, having cohorts every 2 weeks. You just want to pass you guys out, bring the money and let's go. And one thing I've seen, especially the tech guys on Twitter, they've gone to one documentation to read it. It's not as if they've actually tried it in their own environment, and they just say, oh, bring money, I can teach this thing. Is it not just to read the documentation? And when you ask them questions, and they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. Just like our lectures back then, you guys take it as an assignment, do your research. Like I said, you cannot know it all, but there are some things when it comes to your domain, you should be able to explain to people. So, like I said, I'm not a certification person. Certification part, you could have your certification, even when I also, go after certifications. But I believe you should understand the technology before writing those certifications. Yes, you want to confirm. It is writing certifications is not, oh, okay, after I just want to go, okay, where can I get DOMs? Let me just read it, cram everything, and and write the certification. And after then, if I ask you questions about what you have done, you cannot even say anything. That's why when people finally get jobs, in a 3-hour meeting, in a 3 hours meeting, and you're talking about a domain you said you were certifying, and you only talked for a minute, 27 seconds, maybe just by introducing yourself to the team. And for the whole 2 hours, 59 minutes, you are quiet. It's a red flag. You don't even know. You don't even, because you don't know it. But you are claiming, oh, I'm a solution architect at AWS, solution architect Azure, and I look at them and say, you are just 3 months into tech, you're a solution architect. Do you know what solution architect means? So certification parts, depending on what domain you want to focus on, there are lots. even in cloud, you want to be a DevOps engineer, you want to be a cloud engineer, you want to be a solution architect, you want to be an AI engineer, data engineer, lots, security engineer, cyber security. But all this I just mentioned, you still need to know the fundamental. Yes, Siri, please.
Yeah, so sorry for continuing, Shobulugbe. So I think for this certification part, you can just tell them the areas of that you can actually be certified as a cloud engineer, like what someone asked on the group. I think this is the point that we can answer your question. So when it comes to IT support is a general knowledge, right? So if you're learning IT support, you can get is there a certification for IT support? I think there is one on Google. Thereby, you can get the IT support on Google.
There are a lot, yeah. There are a lot of them,
but there are a lot of them. They're actually free online. You can get certification on them, right? And once you're certified, you can actually choose the areas you want to grow on. So IT support is the global space of anybody can come in. Once you're there, then you can now choose the areas you want to diversify into, right? So for cloud engineering, we have different areas. We have different cloud providers, right? We have the AWS, we have Azure, and we have GCP, right? So these different providers have their own certification parts, right? On Azure, we have Azure Fundamentals, we have the administrator, we have the DevOps, we have security, we have cyber security, we have I think we have AI, fundamental of AI, cyber security specialist, we have solution architect, right? Those are different areas on Azure. Therefore, what we call for AWS, we have a solution architect. Also for AWS space, we have the AWS cloud engineering certification. Also, they have the cloud practitioner. We have security on AWS. So those are different areas of certification in AWS. Then for GCP, we also have different areas of certification in GCP. So it depends on which you want to dive into, right? So for my own knowledge, since we're actually on the space of Azure and we grew up in Azure, most times our own we have more ideas on how to train you and how to support you on this line of Azure, than from fundamentals to where you want to be, right? So that's for the certification part. Then for the success tips, like what I keep saying since we started this training, this webinar, is definitely how you are driven. Let me use pidgin. Sorry, permit me, Oloma. I want to use pidgin. How hungry beats you rich. You understand? Let me use that word. How hungry beats you rich. You understand? And your willingness to succeed or to achieve something. That's it. You understand? So you learning using different resources, using webinar. You have there are different videos on YouTube that you can watch and get yourself hands dirty. But what we have understand, or what we have actually on this space have understand, is you don't just need, some of us don't just need these areas, these resources to learn, but we find it difficult to get motivated after some period of time. Motivation is key. After some period of time, you can start up a task. You can start up a learning. You want to learn Azure Fundamentals, and you did the first 3 courses in Azure Fundamentals, and you're tired, right? That's because you don't have a drive, or because you don't have someone that you're looking up to in that particular field, right? So if you have somebody, you have a mentor that you're looking up to, that whenever you have an issue, you can run down to that mentor, or whenever you're tired, right? Or whenever you have an issue, you can run to that mentor, or whenever you're tired, the mentor calls you and say, Ayobami, this thing you've been doing, where have you got into? What have you been able to do, right? That will give you the drive to succeed in that field. So that's what we have actually put together. That's why I said Tech Academic Solution today is not just a platform that you just come and you get trained Then after getting trained, at the end of the day, we leave you to your fate. No. We get you trained. You're part of a community for life. You're part of a community for life with experienced engineers that are ready to support you in your career journey. In your career journey. So if you're starting as I have some cohorts that started as a technical support. We have courses, technical support, Agile fundamentals, Agile administrator, and we have DevOps. Right? Those are the 4 different courses we are actually handling in Tech Academic Solution. So if you're coming with no knowledge, you have no knowledge of this, or you have no knowledge of this IT, you don't have any knowledge, you just want to come in as a new build, or you find love in IT, or you feel you went somewhere and one guy that was spraying money is a tech bro, right? And you want to be like him, so you want to come into IT without no knowledge, we advise you, right? We advise you. After advising you, we understand, we expose you to an assessment and try to get your knowledge, right? We expose you to an assessment and try to get your knowledge level in these areas, right? So once we get your knowledge levels in these areas, then we tell you, okay, with this knowledge you have, this is the area you should be able to start up from. If you have a knowledge of technical support, I will tell you, please start up from cloud engineering, Azure fundamentals, right? If you have a knowledge of these Azure fundamentals and you want to go into DevOps, definitely I will expose you to DevOps. You understand? So it's how you answer our questions, our assessment we use in pushing you to a particular area you want to train on. Like what I said, we don't just train, we mentor. Right? We don't just train, we also mentor you. So once you're training, once you're going through your trainings and you're having issues, you drop it on the WhatsApp group. We have a group on WhatsApp. You drop it on the WhatsApp group. Okay, hi, I've been trying to deploy this and I'm having an issue. Please, I need assistance. Definitely you have someone that will go on call with you to try to resolve it. So Tech Academic Solution is, I would say, is a cloud space. Is a space whereby we want to see individuals not just to learn and pay us money, but to learn and be successful in that particular skills, right? I can tell you in our last class that we just concluded, we are able to, our students, we are able to deploy our engineers, sorry, I know the questions are coming in already. Our engineers have been, our students were able to deploy, an e-commerce website, on Azure to a PaaS as a service platform, right? A PaaS as a service platform on Azure, and they were successful. Now, we have already, they are done with their classes, they have paid their money, yes, they are done. But we are taking them to the next step and we are exposing them to a 4-week challenge, right? So that 4-week challenge, we're going to come up with a problem. Tell you, okay, for this week, go and do this, go and deploy this, right? Go and deploy this, right? Then once they are deploying, we see their progress on how they are deploying these things, on how they are learning. And whenever they are having issues, we come on board and we try to support them and teach them where they did wrong and correct them so that next time they have experience in those things. I know for the 4-week challenge is actually coming up tomorrow. So it's just for our internal students, for them to actually undergo for the challenge, right? So which is already on, we start up tomorrow, right? So Tech Academy Solution, we provide training for technical support with no knowledge of IT. You don't have any knowledge of IT. We train you first, equip you with that. Then after that, we expose you to cloud engineering, It's actually like when I started this class, I talked about cloud. I talked about tech as a journey, right? And not a 1 to 100 scheme or a Ponzi scheme. Is a process. So we have been able to design our model to work in a space of 6 months. When I mean 6 months, we attributed 2 months to technical support without, if you don't have the knowledge on IT, 2 months to 2 months to what do you call it? 2 months to Azure fundamentals, understanding the fundamentals of Azure and how Azure works and how you can actually understanding the resources of Azure. Then another 2 months to understanding the in-depth on how to administer resources and configure these resources on Azure, right? So after those 6 months, and if you have acquired a lot of knowledge and you feel benefit that, yes, I'm now a cloud engineer, I want to go into DevOps. That's when we expose you to DevOps. DevOps is actually a 3-month course, right? DevOps is a 3-month course that you have to cover, right? A 3-month course. So it cuts across understanding Gits. I know we didn't talk about the technology on DevOps. Gits, understanding Terraform, understanding Azure DevOps, understanding Jira, understanding Azure Board. So there's a lot of processes on Azure that if you miss those knowledge as an administrator or as learning the fundamentals of Azure, going to DevOps will be very difficult for you. Learning DevOps will be very difficult for you. So I always tell people, some people comes to me and tell me, I want to learn DevOps. I say, okay, you want to learn DevOps. What do you know about Azure? What do you understand about Azure? What is a virtual machine on Azure? How can you deploy a virtual machine? And they have nothing to say. And they want to go into DevOps because they feel DevOps is paying a lot of money. They want to learn it. I bet you the way you're rushing into DevOps to learn it, that's how you rush out and go back to IT support and start from there. You understand? So the whole thing ties down to what? A process. It's actually a process. You have to start from a particular point. And that's what we have designed in Tech Academic Solution. So we have good trainers. Not like what I said, we don't just train, we mentor. And we don't just pick people from the road that, okay, you study computer science, or you go and read this documentation and come and train. No. These are people that have actually deployed, work in good companies that support Azure, Microsoft certified, right? And even some of our trainers said that if you know about GitHub, some of our trainers are working in GitHub currently, right? So these are the different, I would say, different resources we have in place to actually train personnel from IT support down to what you want to be, right? So the second question we're asking is, if you don't have a knowledge on IT, how will you start up your career journey? Yes. So if you don't have a knowledge about IT and you want to start up a career journey in IT, first thing first, you learn the fundamentals. That is the IT support. Learn it, which we expose you to, right? Which we expose you to. Learn the IT fundamentals. After the IT fundamentals, we drive it down to what? Learn the IT fundamentals. After the IT fundamentals, we drive you down to we take you down to Azure fundamentals. After learning Azure fundamentals, we take you down to Azure administrator. Then once you're done and you feel comfortable, yes, this is the time for me to learn DevOps. They will expose you to DevOps. A Tech Academic Solution is not a place that you just come, you pay us money, and you just tell me, I want to learn DevOps. You pay me money, go out, I'll just collect the money. Yeah, DevOps. I will just train you. If like we are not like that, other people will just take you the next morning, introduction to DevOps. They will read documentation for you. The next Git repository, they will read documentation for you. And at the end of the day, you find yourself not acquiring a knowledge or not understanding what you're doing because you ran from the fundamentals. So that's our model. That's how our model works. Our model works in a very good way, and it has been working for us. We have good students currently, and some of them are actually on this training, on this webinar currently, right? Some of them are actually on this webinar currently. You can check us out at LinkedIn at Tech Academic Solution. You can check us out at Facebook, Tech Academic Solution, right? Then you can check us at Instagram at Tech Academic Solution. Then our website, I think I'll paste our website on the chat. You can take your time and visit our website, right? And visit our website. So we're seeing some questions on sorry. So Chiamaka, you're asking that you really need a mentor because motivation is scarce in me. Yeah, no problem. So if I don't know if the part you want to start from, but definitely you can reach out to us definitely through any of our channels, and we'll actually add you to our WhatsApp group where we can actually understand your knowledge level and see where to expose you to, or where you're definitely going to start from, right? Get me. If you're good at technical support, I'm not going to expose you to technical support. I'll take you to cloud engineering straight up. Azure fundamentals. If you're good with Azure fundamentals, you know the fundamentals of Azure, but you lack the in-depth knowledge of many of these resources, I will expose you to Azure administrator, right? So it depends on your knowledge and how you have and how you pass your assessment. Mind you, assessment, I always tell people, we know we have different AI tools currently. I know about it. We have ChatGPT, we have Gemini, and so many AI tools, right? And I know some of you can just take the question, copy it from head to toe, and put on the AI to press answer, and it will give you the correct answer. Mind you, according to Wiki, no be me you did do. You understand? You did do yourself. No be me you did do. You understand? So I always tell my people that when you're answering that assessment, please answer it. It's not a test of knowledge. I'm just testing your understanding in these areas and what to expose you to. It will be very beneficial to you. So no need of using AI tool. If at the cost of training and you need AI tools for something, no problem, use it. Like example, I'll give an example. Example in our project, when we're doing our project for our last cohort. Some of my students, some of them are laughing now. They actually went to use AI, ChatGPT, right? And ChatGPT was giving them something that will not take them 3 hours to deploy. ChatGPT was giving them a complex method of deploying that thing. And I came back, I told them, this thing is you are going to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is telling you to do this, go here, go here. As in, the ChatGPT is very advanced, right? It will give you advanced things. But you understanding the concept of these tools and how to use them is beneficiary to you. And I explained to them, I told them, bring this tool. This is where you understand. This is where you get your code from, and this is where you deploy. And that's where mentorship comes to play. You understand? That's where mentorship comes to play. And we are ready, not just ready, we are ready to work with you guys from the beginning till the end. We'll follow up with you. You don't attend one class, we'll follow up with you and know your reasons. And definitely we'll tell you make recordings of everything we've done, right? So at the end of the day, you go through those recordings. After going through those recordings, you come to class. There's what we call Kahoot. Check what Kahoot is. Kahoot is a platform whereby you answer questions. So we do Kahoot every day of our training. You go to Kahoot on what you've done previously, and you answer those questions in our present. We see how you're answering the question. We see the areas you need extra explanation on. and we'll try to explain to you how to resolve, how so that you'll be knowledgeable in those areas. So you can visit our website, get more knowledge on it, right? Get more knowledge on our website. Visit us on our platform. Then if you have anything, there's a contact there. Reach out to the contact. On any of our flyer, you see a contact. Reach out to the contact. The contact will explain to you more on how to join our community, on how to join our community on WhatsApp. And from there, we understand your level, your knowledge, and advise you on the area to start from, right? Like what I said earlier, we only have 4 different courses we're training for now. We have technical support, we have Azure fundamentals, we have Azure administrator, and we have DevOps, right? Now, I know some of us might be coming from this group, right? And we might be having questions on how much the price is. Definitely, there's a price tag to everything, right? But if you're coming from here outside the scholarship we're going to give by Vision Bling, there is still going to be a discount. There's still going to be a discount for any student that's coming from this platform, right? There's going to be a discount for you, any student that's coming from this platform. And also, not just a discount. Like what I said, there's a friend of mine that came to learn. I gave him a discount because he felt the money paid was too small. He was not attending classes. So if I give you discount and you don't attend classes, right? You come back again and you pay the full money. You're getting me, and you pay the full money. And there are some of you that might say, okay, we don't have a lot of money to pay for the trainings, right? There is not maybe don't have a lot of money to pay for the training. Definitely, there's a payment plan you can actually follow, right? You can pay in 2 instrumental, you can pay in 3 instrumentals, depending on the areas you want to train for. So for technical support, to learn technical support is 50,000 naira. But when you come from this training, we're going to give you a discount, right? Then for Azure fundamentals is 100,000 naira. Then for is 100,000 naira for what do you call it? Fundamentals. Sorry, for administrator is a 150,000 naira, right? So all these things have a payment plan, right? Depends on your strength. Like what I said, if you're coming from here, you're definitely going to get a discount on it. Then the DevOps is large, right? DevOps is large and it takes time, right? And for DevOps, I know DevOps, some of you here want to actually go into DevOps. I know guys that want to go into DevOps for you on this place. So for DevOps, we're billing DevOps at a rate of 300,000 naira for DevOps. But definitely, if you feel you're coming, there's going to be a discount for you on DevOps, right? So those are the price tag of all our classes and our trainer, all our classes. And the next cohort is starting on, there might be an error on the site which said September 7th, but we're going to correct that. So the next class is starting on the 31st of August. The next cohort is starting on the 31st of August and is going to run from 31st to 2 months' time, depending on the class you're joining. So if you're joining technical support, Azure fundamentals, Azure administrator, are definitely going to have different students for those 3 classes, right? So if you started from any of these classes, we'll definitely all the 3 classes are starting up on the 31st of August, right? But if you're taking a journey, remember we said a journey. If you're taking a journey, once you're done with, because we do our cohort every 2 months, right? So once you finish the first cohort, so the next 2 months, you graduate into the next one, right? That's if you learn IT fundamentals today, sorry, if you like IT support for the first 2 months, and you deem it fit that you want to have knowledge on Azure fundamentals, so you register for the Azure fundamentals. But since you're also part of that community already from IT support, and you're not coming outside, there is a discount for payment for people already part of the community. So we are making the platform still accessible by people that wants to learn, that have the drive to learn, right? And like what I said, we are not just collecting your money. Once you come in, you see the worth of what you're learning. And we are not just coming to read documentation for you. We're giving you an access to an Azure environment, right? An Azure live production environment, whereby you can do your labs. When I mean labs, any resources you're deploying. If you want to deploy a virtual machine, you want to learn how to deploy a virtual machine, there's an environment. We have an Azure environment that you should be able to do that with an Azure paid subscriptions. That you should be able to do that. So I don't think there is another question again on the chat. I think we have been able to okay, someone is asking, is Azure 104 a prerequisite to become a cloud engineer? No, Azure 104 is not a prerequisite to become a cloud engineer, right? So a prerequisite to become a cloud engineer is for you to learn the fundamentals of Azure first, and that is AZ900. And that is AZ900, right? So with that, you should be able to start up your career from AZ900 to go to 104. From 104, then you choose the areas you want to go into. So I think that's all from us at that's all from us. I don't know if there's other question coming in. So
no, I think so sorry. I quickly
okay.
One. I think I saw a comment from BK. I might not be able to pronounce that full name, but if you are saying you've been able to, taken 104 3 times and you have not been able to pass it, do not give up. 104 administrator is the most difficult certification.
Difficult exam, yes.
Because it cut across all the domains. For the first time I did it, I failed it. So don't even. Sometimes I struggle to renew my certification in 104. The rest, when I go in there, I just click the answers. But for 104, I need to concentrate. I need to actually give it my full concentration before I'm able to pass the renewal certifications. It's because it cuts across everything. Because new services, new technologies are always springing up every now and then. So do not worry. We've seen people that have been on floor, for 2-3 years. They are supporting Microsoft technologies, and they still go back to write 104. They fail it. So you are not the first, and that shouldn't demotivate you. Cynthia, please. I think I need to run. I have another engagement.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Okay. Please. I want to talk about the scholarship briefly. Okay. So, Siri and Wafemi, thank you so much. The reason why, before I talk about the scholarship, I just want to talk upon something. The reason why we bring people who are professional in this is for them to get this experience firsthand. Now, I tell people, where you do your boot camp or take your courses from really matter a lot. I recommend people who have industry experience that are teaching than to people who just learned this thing and they are now teaching this. So because the reason why I know you're serious and I know how much you are really good in this business. And to be very honest, this career path is very important. The reason why I'm saying it's very important, I've told you several times. For me as a software engineer, most of the interview I go for, before anybody, most of these recruiters even listen to you or look at your CV, you must have, as a software engineer, you must have DevOps experience.
Yeah.
You will know how to configure CI/CD pipeline. I told you, I'm not like asking, am I going to do my work as a software engineer and still do my work as a DevOps? It doesn't even make sense to me. But at the end of the day, it's important, all these things, because all of them, they marry each other. So now, please, take this thing very serious. It's really not, we are not joking here. We don't bring out our time here to just make noise and go. Now, for the scholarship, Vision Bling will be giving one person a scholarship on technical support, because that is what we can offer for now. And we're going to put out a link. So I believe that this technical support will be like for beginners, because I'm so keen on people who are just starting their career in tech, who don't even know, especially those who are coming from maybe non-technical background, who don't even know how to start. They're always very confused. So since this is a foundation level, we are going to give somebody a scholarship to take that class with a series free. Now, I want to say something about my scholarship. I've done free online training, and I know how lazy people can get when they get something free. I'm not the kind of person when you get something free from me, I will think I will leave you. Like I can never leave you. I will make sure that it's either you get that thing and learn from it, or you don't get it at all. When I did online training, if you miss UIS class 2 times, I remove you from my group. I don't take. And now, if I give you this scholarship and I ask him a Siri, please, how far did this person attend class? Say, oh, the person did not attend class 2 times. Please take the person out of the group, because you're not serious. People really don't value things they don't pay for. So I'm saying this now so that you will not come back to me and tell me, oh, this. I'll just block you. People say I'm wicked, but I honestly don't care. I'll just block you, because you just have to take this thing very, very serious. So the link is here. Fill this link. We'll pick one person and we'll announce the person in our WhatsApp group. And we'll make sure that on 31st of August, you start these classes with Tech Academy Solution. The last person I sponsored on data analysis, the person, I was just following the person course, because we did it on this Google certification stuff. I can't really remember, but I realized the person took only 2 classes. I called the person, I tried to follow up. This person, she was not like doing as if she's doing me a favor. I deleted the account, I blocked her. She tried reaching out, Coursera, yes, Chamaka. She tried reaching out to me. These are something I paid for. She tried reaching out to me. I told her, forget it. I've lost the money, but you won't take that course again. Just let it go. She reached out to me with another number. I told her no, because she wasn't serious with this. So please, if you get this scholarship, take it very, very serious, because you are not doing this. You're like, it's for your own good. That's just what I have to say. So if you have more questions to ask, please ask them. They are here now. The link is here. Please click on the link, fill the form. By tomorrow we should turn it off. The form is not even the questions we ask. The questions we ask there is just very few. If you've been on this class, it's just very few questions. So the reason why you need the scholarship and how beneficial this scholarship will be to you. We'll announce the person that's the winner on our WhatsApp group and maybe our social media pages too. So yeah, after that, you start the class on, let's see, we said 31st of August, right? You said 31st of August. That's when the new cohort you're starting.
Yes, 31st of August.
So you start with them on 31st of August. So yeah. So if you have any questions, ask. This is 2 hours. So let's wrap it up.
I think there's one question from Kigo Great. Say, after technical support, can you go into now? Definitely, yes. After technical support, I think Peter has been able to answer you. So after technical support, you can actually jump into AZ 900. So AZ 900 is closer to technical support, because you're just understanding how these resources you learned on technical support and how they use them on the cloud, yes. Then I'm just picking some questions randomly. So is technical support in okay? Oloma, you have been able to answer that. So Blaze Chidera said, this has always been the problem. I need a direction and actual practice. Yeah, definitely. So reach out to us, register on the site, and we'll follow up with you on I know you you're going to DevOps, definitely. So reach out to us and we'll follow up on you, right? Then if actually service is an answer. Okay, I think that was I think that's all. That was all.
Any
from,
more questions, please?
So the floor is open. Any more questions, you're free to ask.
If you have more questions, you can unmute your mic and ask your question before we leave. Okay.
Ayobami.
Ayobami, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, like what is the like the main difference between cloud engineering and DevOps?
Okay, yeah. So, like what we said, cloud engineering is the operational end, right? The operational end of resources in the cloud, managing resources in the cloud, right? So, with cloud engineering, you're supposed to understand a minimum of a particular cloud provider. When I mean cloud provider, understand what AWS, have knowledge on AWS, have knowledge on Azure, or have knowledge on GCP, right? So that's cloud engineering. Then DevOps is like what we said, DevOps, development, and ops, right? So is taking code from the development team, automate the process of deploying that particular code to a particular instance in the cloud. So that where you're deploying it to is being prepared by the cloud engineer, right? So if you understand, I don't know if you understand the whole concept of cloud engineer, we have PaaS as a service, we have IaaS, PaaS as a service, we have infrastructure as a service, and we have platform as a service. Right? So it now depends on the area you want to deploy that particular code on. And that area or that environment is being created by what? The cloud engineer. You understand? So a cloud engineer, a cloud engineer prepares the ground running. Let me just use the word, prepares the ground running. The way we prepare ground running for Tinubu.
It's just like a data engineer and a data analyst.
Yes, correct.
Data engineer build the architecture.
Okay. Then an analyst. Why you mute your mic?
And the data analyst, they analyze the data and they do visualization.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, that's just it. You understand? It's just to understand the concept of this whole thing. So DevOps is that's why I said you don't just jump into DevOps. You understand. You don't just jump into DevOps. You understand the core concept of this whole cloud engineering space, right? Once you understand it, then you can go into DevOps. So with that, you are equipped so that when you are deploying a particular code to an infrastructure and there's an error, right? You understand where that error is coming from. If it's from your end, if it's from the automation tool you created, or if it's from the infrastructure that was built by the cloud engineer. You understand? So that's just it. So Mena, you raise up your hand. You have the floor.
Okay. My question. Okay, first of all, thank you all for this beautiful class. I really do had a great time here. My question is not concerning what was taught today, though, because of lots of technical jargons. Should I use that word that was used? I was a bit lost. But eventually, I know a few months from now, from what Akpesiri has said, taking it step by step, part by part, 2 months into 2 months, I intend going through the three phase, starting from the IT support. I will get there and start speaking these technical jargons also. But my question is about the form. I'm already feeling it, yeah. So I saw proof that you are part of the Blink WhatsApp community. I don't know anything about that. is it a WhatsApp group we are already, or there's another WhatsApp group for that?
Okay, so I think the community is this is Vision Bling community, right? So they are the ones giving out this scholarship, right? So if you want to be part of the scholarship, you have to be part of their community. So you have to join the community.
Please, can I ask you a question, Nana? How did you get to hear about this webinar? Did you register?
For this webinar,
Yeah, for this session, did you
joined.
register?
The link for registering was not working. The form was not working. So it was a link that was sent to the WhatsApp group for what was the group? Azura WhatsApp group, I think so. Yeah. So some of us joined from there.
Oh, some of you joined from there. Okay.
Yes.
Did you join from the beginning or mid session?
I joined from the beginning. I think 5 minutes into it or 3 minutes into it. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Because I okay, my name, I don't know if you were here when I introduced myself,
Yes,
but
I was here
I
when you
run this community Vision Bling, and what I do is to help my community members transition to tech. So you have to be part of my community. By doing that, you join our WhatsApp community. You must have registered, because if you register for this webinar, you at the end it will tell you join the WhatsApp community. That's your one of us. So the scholarship is basically for people who are community members and who attended this webinar. So if you're filling the form, that's okay. But only if you're here, you can put out the WhatsApp link, because the proof is that you have to show that you're part of that community. So you might join it and upload it there, because I want to be sure that whoever is benefiting from this is a Vision Bling community member, because that is what we are doing.
Okay, understand. Yeah, thank you.
Chidera, please. Your hands up.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So just wanted to ask a question, right? For those of us that had experience in Azure fundamentals and Azure administrator, but of course, due to should I say loss of practice, I've forgotten a lot of things as regards to setting up a virtual machine and so on. What is your advice for us? Do we get to brush up on those again, maybe personally, before coming back to write the assessment?
So for you, I'll actually answer the question based on who you are, definitely. So for person like you, Blaze, you understand. I feel if you're saying you actually need a brush up, right, on Azure before you go into DevOps, right? I would say you start up, you just get a brush up, a 2 months training on the Azure administrator part, the wonderful part. Just get a brush up, a 2 months training there, because definitely whatever you're learning on that Azure administrator is what you're going to use in DevOps, right? Because you'll be creating those resources, and if you don't have the knowledge of creating those resources, there will be a knowledge gap, right? So it's advisable, like you personally, I will advise you to start up with 104 Azure Administrator. You understand? Azure Administrator class, and from there you can deep dive into DevOps, just because I know you. You're getting me? But why I say because I know you, because we don't work in the same place. Actually, me and Bliss actually worked in the same place. We worked at the Office 365 side, which I understand they have knowledge of the Azure fundamentals, right? So that's why I said if you start up with 104. But if you have no practical knowledge of Azure, you have not seen the Azure portal, right? You have not even visited portal.azure.com, right? And you want to deep dive into the administrator part of Azure, I won't advise you to do that, right? I'll tell you to start for fundamentals. So fundamentals gives you a practical knowledge of what Azure is all about, what the resources, how the resources is being used, and how it's being implemented. Wondo Nwane, think you raise up your hand first. So please, I'll be able to answer your question. Sorry.
Sure. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So Wondo, sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Wando, sorry.
Oh, that is mother of my name.
Apologies.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. So my question is, if you're one member of the community already, but you didn't register, my question goes to Cynthia. So we can still fill the form, right?
You can still fill the form, but I won't even forgive you because you see me announcing this every day. So why haven't you registered? Since you want to participate in this scholarship, or you can go ahead and register since you, because I knew when you joined the meeting anyway, so you joined the what's it called, the webinar. But please, for next time, the criteria is community register and.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Mena, your hand is up. Okay, sorry, Jude.
All right. So my question.
Sorry, I was talking muted. Apologies.
Okay.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, just like what the other guy, I don't know his name, asked. Those of us that have done C programming, where do we start from?
So
Do we
C
start from
programming. No,
Yes.
C programming is actually, if you're done C programming is actually a programming language, right? A programming
Yes.
language for you to deploy, create applications and deploy applications, right? So if you have C programming knowledge, there's no problem. You understand? So for you to be able to have the knowledge, definitely you understand, for you to be able to have that knowledge, definitely you understand the concept of you understand the concept of you understand the concept of IT support, right? So exposing you to that again will be waste of your money and waste of your time, right? So it's just to expose you to another area called cloud engineer, called the cloud engineering part, right? Which is Azure fundamentals. So you start up with Azure fundamentals. From Azure fundamentals, you go to administrator. And from administrator, you understand even this application you're developing with C programming, right? You understand how you can actually deploy those applications to Azure environments. So for those that already have in knowledge or of an IT aspect of an area in IT, I always advise them to start from cloud, the Azure fundamentals. That's if they want to learn cloud computing.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jude.
Please, 2 more questions and we wrap up.
Okay.
All right. Let me try to be fast. So my first question is everybody that talked on this this meet is actually, you guys have masters. So my first question is masters really, what's the difference in the master side? My second question is
okay.
I talked about, like, as a developer having to have DevOps knowledge, you understand? And I know everything I've been hearing is Azure, right? And I don't do C, for example. Like, as a software engineer, to really use the Azure platform, what I need, do I need to have a knowledge of .NET, C#? So that's just the 2 questions.
So no, comment back. I think your voice broke.
Come again, the first one.
Yeah, no, the second one.
Okay, so like, to be a software engineer and have a DevOps skills, right?
Yeah.
In terms of implementing it, because I know anything Microsoft in programming is .NET. Do I need to have .NET knowledge to understand how to do the pipelines and deployment and every stuff?
So if you're, yeah, thank you for that. So if you're, first of all, you said all of us that are presenting all have masters. So definitely masters. Computer science is not a professional course. I know it's heartbreaking for us that read computer science. It's not a professional course, right? Anybody can jump from anywhere. Anybody can jump from anywhere and become very good in this field without reading computer science, right? So BSc computer science, master's computer science does not really tell how you should be able to do well in this field. Like what Papa Femi said in our previous class, we have different people that read. I have a friend that read biochemistry, right? He's currently a cybersecurity engineer in Wema Bank. Sorry, Fidelity Bank. You're getting me? I have a friend that read fine arts or business education. He's currently a cloud engineer in UK for a company, right? So computer science is not a professional course. You can start from anywhere, no matter the field you graduate with. The thing is that just your willingness to learn and to improve yourself, that matters a lot. Then you talk about building up programming languages and developing pipelines for them to deploy into Microsoft Azure. I understand that Microsoft Azure only have their platform already centered around .NET. So that's it. That's the cloud engineering actually comes into play with the question you have asked. So Azure, even if Microsoft, right, are in charge of .NET frameworks and the whole development process, right, in .NET, but they have different areas or different platforms you can deploy your application to. Like, I know we did not deep dive into cloud services, right? So we talk about, so cloud models, so we talk about IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So if you're creating, with your question, I'll just deep dive a little. So if you're creating a Java application, right, and you want to deploy it to Azure, let's just say normal native deployment, no DevOps principles, right? Normal native deployment. You want to deploy it to Azure. You build up what we call, now you choose your cloud, your cloud model that you want to use, either PaaS as a service or IaaS as a service. PaaS as a service is infrastructure as a service. And no, sorry, PaaS as a service, platform as a service. Then infrastructure as a service is, so PaaS as a service is platform as a service. Then IaaS is infrastructure as a service, right? They have different grade of management. Infrastructure as a service, you're telling Microsoft that, Microsoft, I beg, what I just want for you is just create a virtual machine for me in your data center. Create a virtual machine for me. I want to be able to manage the security of my application on your environment. I want to be able to manage the OS my application is running on, right? I want to be able to manage how my application connects to different platforms in my environment. Microsoft said, okay, yeah, you come to Azure, you deploy virtual machine. Then on deploying virtual machine, you have to prep your virtual machine to be able to accept a Java application. That's when you install Java dependencies on your virtual machine. You install the dependencies that, like you install Java runtime and some other dependency that is needed for you to run that particular applications. So once that is being installed, then your application can run very well on that environment. Remember, I said you manage the OS that is running on. You are in charge of it. If virus should attack that Windows, it's your fault, right? That's infrastructure as a service. Then platform as a service is Microsoft. I'm very lazy. Please, I cannot start building up virtual machines. I cannot start doing this. Please take over, manage it for me. You tell Microsoft, okay, come to my environment. What do you want to deploy? I want to deploy a .NET application. I want to deploy a Java application. Okay, you choose your Java dependencies. You just click on it there, on the environment, and you create your app service. It's called app service. So that app service is, you're just seeing the platform itself, but you're not seeing where the application is running on, because it's none of your business. Microsoft is managing it for you. You understand? Microsoft is managing it for you, right? So if definitely now you now said, okay, I don't want to use the native method of deploying these applications to different environments, right? I want to use an automated way to deploy this. I want to be able to write a pipeline to deploy this, right? So you choose the environment you want to deploy it on. Mind you, when you're choosing your environment, once you create your applications, you definitely also have to create these resources on Azure. Like if you're deploying to virtual machines or deploying to app services, right? So, but then you come to your pipelines. There's what we call the build and release pipelines, right? So on the build pipelines, you develop your pipeline to be able to build a Java application with Java dependencies. You build it as a package, right? So when it's being built, it's being saved on an artifact, as an artifact. When it's being saved as an artifact, then you also write a release pipeline. A release pipeline is what we tell the system that this particular artifact is being released into this particular environment. I'm sorry, Jude just took me to another realm. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's getting very, very crazy.
Now you're already talking about Scrum.
Hey Siri, now wait.
I'm sorry. That's why I said I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So
what you just said,
so that
yeah, I get it.
So let me end there for now, right? So that's just it. So depending on where your application is running on, right? Microsoft is open to any application you're writing. .NET, PHP, Java, Laravel, any framework you're writing on, you have a platform as a service. Sorry, as platform as a service to run it on. But if you want to run it on a virtual machine, you will be the one to prep your virtual machine to be able to accept that particular application and expose it to the internet. I don't know if that, let me know go deep. I don't know if that answers your question, Jude.
Yes, sure.
Yeah,
It does.
thank you.
What you're
Thank
just
you.
trying to say is that the platform, you can use it to deploy for any technology, whether Java,
Yes.
whether Node.
Anything.
Yeah, because even when I was learning how to configure CI/CD pipeline, it will give you, it will tell you whether it's for .NET or whether it's for Node and stuff like that. And it is actually quite interesting. I want to. Have you explored Git Actions before?
Okay, no, I've not worked with Git Actions. I've worked mostly with Azure DevOps.
Okay, that's actually interesting. We've been here for 2 hours 30 minutes.
Can I just ask one last question?
I know you're passionate about this, but if we leave you today, we will not go.
Okay, let's take the last question from Ayobami.
Yeah, so do you need to know a specific programming language, at least maybe one, for you to be a DevOps engineer?
Nice questions, Ayobami. Sita, you say no.
No.
Nice. No, you don't have to. Right? One, why I would say no, you don't have to. Right? You don't have to know a particular application. It's not compulsory. It's not compulsory that you must know, but it's mandatory. That question is somehow
tricky. Yeah,
it's tricky. Why I said it's tricky is because Why I said it's tricky is because you might be getting, you might be applying for a job. We DevOps engineer, they will ask you, you need to know at least one programming language. One. You understand? But the programming language that you're knowing is not for you to come and write programming language, write codes on that programming language for them, right? It's for you to be able to understand, right? When you get the application code and you run your build and your build fails, you understand? You should be able to understand that this is what is failing on this build, or you're performing a unit test, or you're performing testing on the application, and a particular section of the application is failing. You should be able to understand that this is the error, what the error is, and you just write it out and send back to the developer for them to implement the errors, and you're gone. You understand? So it's not compulsory.
Sorry, continue.
Okay.
I wanted to say something.
So it's not compulsory for you to know programming language, but I would say it's mandatory.
The reason
Not
why I
on-
actually said no is because, when you talk about programming, many people get scared to even learn at all. Do you understand?
Yes.
So if it
Okay.
is something you want to learn, do you understand? Just remove programming mindset from and just learn it and know that this thing is not hard. But on the long run, just have it in mind that this is what you need to add to it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The reason why they ask, like a series said, the reason why they ask people who ask for people who at least understand, and this is not about a particular language now, this is about you having the knowledge to understand errors. So maybe when you're running your build, like he said, when you're automating your process and you have an error, for you to be able to say, okay, this line of code is giving me error. Programmer, you've not done this thing well. Please do ABC or check it again. And to be very honest, Esiri, do you know, it's now that is in this webinar I knew that you have to learn Azure fundamentals first before CIC, as in before Azure DevOps.
Oh,
I learned DevOps first before going to fundamental, because I was, anytime I open that Azure platform, that portal,
yeah.
so many things are happening there, I get scared. I'm like, what is all this? Do you understand? So I had to learn the DevOps first. It is now, I actually thought is IT support, DevOps before that one. I did not even know it's the other way around. So I actually learned something from this webinar.
Thank you. Thank you, my mentor.
I actually learned something from this webinar. Thank you very much. Please, I think we have
All
to
right.
now. We've been here since 4 o'clock. And
Yeah.
And Esiri, thank you so much for your time. Thank you. And thank you so much. The recording of this will be out on our YouTube channel. We'll try and even, see what we can, but we'll put out the recording there on our YouTube channel. What's the YouTube channel? I'm not in the WhatsApp group. Do you know what will happen? Let me put out the link to our WhatsApp. Let me put out the link to our WhatsApp group there, because that is actually where we communicate with most people. I'm coming. Let me just copy out the link and paste it here so that before we go, because I know, just give me a few minutes. Let me just copy out the link and paste it there. Okay, Oni has already put it there. So the link is here. You can just click on that link and join the WhatsApp group. So in case anything, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Siri. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.